This is EB3, speaking the truth in love, and I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. I'm sitting out here waiting on my middle son to get his hair cut, and I was just thinking, oftentimes we do a lot of things as mothers, as parents, for our children, and we think that it's that nobody noticed, nobody really cares, sometimes it's like a thankless job. But the thing is, the more you put into your children, the greater the reward would be. Just to see them grow up and be productive citizens, just to see them be able to stay out of trouble, is worth it all. In our society today, people just automatically think that our young people that look like me, black people, brown people, whatever you want to call it, were just automatically looked at as suspicious, as people who are going to do something harmful. And the truth of the matter is, there's a lot of good people raising good children, citizens. It's a lot of working class people that's doing everything they can to produce citizens that are productive, engage in the community, give back to the community. They don't all go to college, but a lot of them do have careers where they law-abiding citizens who believe in justice, who believe in equality, who believe that if they work hard and if they do what they're supposed to do, if they abide by the rules that are set before them, that they can be successful. And that's the way it's supposed to be. So I just want to encourage you guys to keep going, keep doing everything that you can do to give your to give your children a head start. When I was growing up, we were often taught that we had to be better than the other people. We had to outperform in everything that we do. We couldn't just barely make it through. And I think that's what we need to go back to teaching our children. We can't just barely make it through. At the same time, what we really need to teach our children is put their trust and faith in Jesus Christ, because at the end of the day, no matter how much hard work you do, no matter how much education you get, how many years you've been on the job, it's like you always have to prove yourself when you are a person of color. And this is not me, this is not me being like in a pity party. I'm just telling you the reality of it. Is you always have to prove yourself. You can be done just made it through a major event in your career and go to a different part of your work phase, and it's like you starting all over. It's like everything that you just accomplished, it didn't mean nothing. And I want to tell y'all, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. That's just the way people see and view you. But you got to take courage, because in the midst of all of that, God can still bless you. People can be doing everything they can to hold you back. But what God has for you, it is for you. And trust me, the Lord has a way of making your enemy your footstool. the main person who will try to hold you back, try to give you a bad name, try to do all these things, not because you have been lazy or complacent or didn't go get the training or the education that you need for that particular position. No, not because of those things. Not because you were late from work, not because you didn't come into work, not because you left early too many days. None of that. All simply because of what you look like. Not even because you got a bad attitude. And sometimes I've noticed that sometimes what people deem as bad attitude is just you speaking up for yourself. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a time and a place, but you can say the same thing that your counterpart say, and they are deemed as, oh, we need to look into that, we need to see, we need to take some time and figure out, go analyze the situation. But if I say it, I'm an angry black woman. And, I don't want to sound, again, like, I don't want to sound like, woe is me, because with all the heartaches and the trials and tribulations, I have it pretty good in my career. I worked up, by the grace of God, I worked up from being an apprentice all the way up to being a second line management. So I make pretty decent and I do pretty good, but there's so much microaggression. There's a lot of microaggression in the workplace. And I'm telling you, it don't matter what industry it is. It doesn't matter. I have made, my team and I, for years, we've made a lot of milestones but we never got the recognition. My counterpart got the recognition. And a lot of times we bailed them out. But I learned this. God has a way of, no matter how much spotlight somebody else take from you, or what you feel like, if you just hold on and if you just keep going, sometimes you have to speak up, but you got to do it in such a way it's non-threatening to your counterparts. Because any little thing that you say can and will be used against you in the future. But these are the things that we have to teach our children, how to not be a kiss up now, but how to be, I want to say, how to navigate in the other world. Got to learn. We really got to teach them how to navigate. And like I said, when I was growing up, they taught us that we had to be better. We had to outperform. We had to go out and we had to do a whole lot more than the others. And as I've walked through life, as I've gone through different phases of my life, my career, it's true. It's true. We cannot just skate by. Even when you are an entrepreneur, you got to do a little bit more than the others, because you got to get these fundings and stuff, but you got to make sure you fill that paperwork out exactly right. You got to make sure you get some contacts that will help guide you through, because the laws are steady changing. How you get your loans and all the different stuff, how you get your fundings and all those different things change over a course of time. And so what you was able to do 5 years ago, you might not be able to do this year coming up. You may, even what you were able to do in 2022, 2023 is subject to change for 2024, 2025, 2026. You get what I'm saying? So you got to be able to navigate the other world. You got to be able to navigate it. And you got to be able to navigate it in such a way, like I said, that where it's non-threatening, because it's easy in the workplace and in business and entrepreneurship to be deemed the angry black woman, the aggressive black bully men, you know. So you just got to be careful. You got to say things in such a way that you've made your point, but is not as aggressive as maybe your counterpart can be. So let's be mindful that everything we do for our children, everything that we work hard for, teach them how to go get it and teach them how to keep it. That's what I'm working on. Trying to teach my young men how to keep what their father and I have worked for and how to grow in it. You know, we also have to teach them how, if they get stopped, because eventually they will. My son got stopped a couple weeks. My oldest son is the only one that's driving. My middle son, he's kind of apprehensive of learning. We're in the middle of learning how to drive, but he's not very confident yet. But I'm sure he will be, because my oldest, he kind of started out that way. But we've been teaching them ever since they were young. When the police stop, be as non-threatening as possible. Your goal is to make it home safely. Your goal is to make it home safely. You let them write you a ticket. It's okay. If we can always fight the ticket if you feel like it's unjust, or we can just pay the ticket. That's your choice. However, we don't want you coming home in a body bag. We don't want to have to bury you at a young age because somebody stopped you and they already had a chip on their shoulder and you said something sarcastic or you were so frustrated that you yelled or screamed at them, and now you're dead. And I don't know how else to put that, you know. But yeah, we got to be extra. Even when you know that you didn't do anything to be stopped. You weren't speeding. Your tail light's not out. You know, you just got to be careful. Say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, whatever, whoever it is. Yes, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. See, the thing is, in the whole time, and that's another thing is, you don't want to have a car full of guys. But in my case, it's kind of hard because I have 3 sons. I don't have any daughters. I have 3 sons, and you know, they're not big men, but it doesn't matter. Like, my baby is probably the biggest one, but he's not the tallest one yet. And I use it yet because I think he's going to be the tallest one. But the thing is, our goal is to make it home safely every day. Me as a black woman, my son is black men. Our goal is to make it home safely every day. Make it home safely every day. So we just have to put in a lot of work, do a lot of conversations with our children, pray and fast, and if you see somebody else, child, going in the wrong direction, pray for them, talk to them. But don't talk to them overly aggressive, because sometimes all these kids need is somebody to listen to them, because they go through a lot. They go through a lot. They get harassed. They get picked on. They get talked about. They get mistreated just like we do. And so we have to keep that in mind as well, that, you know, everything is not what it seems on the surface. And a lot of times these kids, they come from good families, but, you know, when you get out there at school and you get out there in the neighborhood and all that, it's easy for them to get in trouble. It's hard for them to get out of trouble. And that's what I tell my boys all the time. Be careful, because it's so doggone easy for you to get in trouble, but it's so hard for you to prove and get out of trouble. So again, let's just, don't worry about if we thanked. Don't worry about if it seemed like we appreciate it. When you have sown great seeds, then you will reap a great harvest. But if you don't sow the seeds, then you might get some wildness growing. You just got to sow the right seeds. Man, I can't stress that enough. We have got to make sure, and I'm still raising my boys. Maybe that's why I'm so concerned. I've always been concerned about young people, even when I was young. But I remember my husband saying that when you have your own children, it makes a difference. And it has made a difference in my life, the Lord giving me sons, because I am so compassionate about young men. When I see different things, I'll talk to them just as if I gave birth to them. And at work, but I see them out in the neighborhood. Of course, a lot of the little guys that grew up with my boys, they see me as mama. But yeah, let's show our children some love. Show them some love, and don't worry about if we get thanked and all that, because in the end they will see, hey, this little lady or this young man, this older lady or this older man showed me some compassion, and it changed my life. My mom talked to me and talked to me and talked to me and talked to me, got on my nerves, and it changed my life. My dad got on my butt, whooped my butt, did this and did that, told me this and told me that. But now I see and I understand. Sometimes even we didn't understand when we were growing up. But now, as the old people say, we understand by and by. So anyway, this has been EB3, speaking the truth in love. Like, subscribe, and follow. If you drop a comment, tell me what you think about this video, and share it. Anyway, be blessed, and I am out.